No hej, a tak, to taki Imperium tam ponownie Vampyr i co, lecimy dalej z tą kostnicą. Trzeba to ogarnąć, nie? Zanim kostnicę trzeba tego typa wydymać, to jeszcze tak. Trzeba go porobić jakoś.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well. It's locked, all right. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. It's locked. This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Ja na mega klimat, słyszymy tam w tle właśnie tych frajerów, tak niczym zombiaki, no. Tak drą się. A, to bo były znikł. Magia.
These scowls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood. Wykradać krew? Ciekawe. It's locked. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? The chest was originally open to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked. Tippett has made...
Aha, boss. Ponownie boss.
Gals can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting. Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Mamy znaleźć przywiniane żelazo, ta? Rzekomo.
It's locked. fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate. Who would say? Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
And survive this epidemic.
Finally, you've returned.
Yes, Nurse.
You've worked your first miracle.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed,
Many thanks, Doctor.
Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
How? I'll...
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid
You are not a
and you have my gratitude.
Do you need any help?
Thank you.
I have to go now.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the name?
It was a twofold error.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the dock.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed...
Goodbye, Doc. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doc.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realised I could make...
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know.
Have you no
Don't you see?
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples.
Maybe you're right.
You do realize you could both get fired.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Wise choice.
Overwhelmed by this horrifying epidemic.
Good evening.
Good.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not...
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed.
I can't say I approve of what you did. But as a field surgeon, I know that some situations require you to bend the rules.
I'm not proud of what I've done, but to contain the epidemic must be our priority, so we can't afford to lose Dr.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's.
I'm so glad you share my point of view.
I hope you're right.
Dr. Tippett must regain...
Goodbye, nurse.
Another night with the glorious battalion.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm.
I cannot express my thrill at...
It may seem strange, but your words...
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's...
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that...
And you would like me to...
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her late...
Accepted. I'll...
Do you need something?
I have just...
Then ask.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall.
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
That explains your nightly
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Since I'm the one working for you,
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
where do we stand today?
To be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires,
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadful.
the sun, the morning following my transformation, its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to...
How do
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity,
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires. Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
We'll see each other. I cannot enter.
Ewidentnie tutaj czegoś brakuje, nie?
The flower's dying. It needs water.
No właśnie mi ciekawe, jak ten poziom hipnotyzmu kurwa zwiększyć, bo mam no poziom pierwszy, a potrzebuję no... Muszę mieć wyższy poziom, żeby ich porobić. Ten mam poziom pierwszy dalej. Poziom czwarty, poziom drugi. Na nim mam te wskazówki, na nim też, ale też poziom czwarty. Poziom drugi. Nie jak ich porobić, no. O szkolnych chocikach, nie? Jo.